You can't force dogma out of anyone. This whole idea that we can defeat ISIS, Daesh, whatever the fuck you call them, it's not going to be a forceful thing. It has to come from within. Islam and those who subscribe to it, and those who subscribe to any sort of dogma really, particularly those that are destructive physically, really need to look within and sort it out. No one from the outside is going to force it out of them. In fact, that would be counter-effective if anybody tries to force out dogma from anyone because of the ego. There will come a time in future when dogma becomes obsolete because people will have woken up and realized that, in fact, they are free. They are not held by bondage. But until that day, of course, for myself with children, for family, and for many others in this world, you've got to wonder, how on earth do you protect yourself? If you do believe the words of the book of Revelation, you will understand that you cannot avoid what is going on today, and it will probably only get worse. But I can tell you now for sure, Islam will not explode, as in being obliterated by an outsider, by the opposite. It will be an implosion. The destruction of Islam will come from within. I don't even want to use the word destruction, but you know what I mean. You can't force anything. I have my view of life. Somebody else has their view of life. How do I convince them that my view is more productive and more beneficial to this planet and beyond? Can't happen. That's why people don't understand me. You see, understanding, as I always say, is not agreeing, but accepting. But what you'll find with dogma is that it immediately puts you or anyone else above someone else. There's no equal footing. You might think, well, let's wait for the generation of extremists to die. They will be dead, but the ideology won't be. There will come a time, I'm sure it will be many hundreds of years from now, when we're all dead and gone, where we look back at such ideologies as Islam and ISIS, Daesh, or whatever sect of religion you want to call, the way that we look back at the Middle Ages today, or the Dark Ages. That's what I think will happen. Because as people and as the universe evolves, so should our thinking, our psyche. But for some reason, and I know the reason, dogma has a hold on generations. My parents did it. They believed in it. So therefore it's good. Therefore it's somehow better than my own pragma. People don't second think things they do or believe because they're sheep. And if people who look like them and people they look up to have a certain way of life, somehow it's the right way. Implosion, not explosion. That's what's going to happen to Islam and many other dogmas, because dogma is, in my opinion, and I only say my opinion because I'm respectful, bullshit and very backwards. We're moving forward. We're expanding. And yet dogma is a very constraining thing. So when it comes to wars, in regards to ideology, which is intangible, not tangible like the physical body, what on earth are you doing fighting with guns and bombs, etc., etc.? If you want to defend your house, I can understand that. But what on earth are you doing believing you can destroy an ideology with your hands? You can only do so by your example, with your mind, with your spirit. And then God help us, maybe people will see it and decide that, you know what? My parents did this. My grandparents did this. My ancestors did this, believed in this. But we're in a new time now. It's obsolete. I have faith in humanity, but I fear that not a lot of people think like that. Not a lot of people can step out of their shoes and actually look at themselves and see what they do and what they believe and change. Because of this thing we call ego, which is man's worst enemy, by the way.